Hey, 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 what's up, everybody? It is Thursday in the world. Well, no, it's not in the whole world. Some people it's probably Friday and some
Yeah.
people it's probably Wednesday. So, depending on where you are, it's Thursday where I am. Let's put it that way.
Me
And
too.
welcome to another session with some lovely people. The Love Entrepreneurs Group, Love Entrepreneurs Show. Thank you for being here. Lovely faces we have here. And listen, we got a great conversation that is ahead of you today. We're talking about self image and we're talking about building confidence in a way that allows you to succeed in business. We got some confident folks on the screen here today. Very confident, very successful, very inspirational, very motivational. I see how I teed everybody up there. So now you got big shoes to fill. My name is Oliver Marcel. I am part of this glorious team here. I'll let everybody take about 30 seconds and introduce themselves in just a moment. And we are here to provide value, number one. Number two, we are here to share with you a opportunity to be a part of a community that is thriving, that is intentional about seeing you win as a person and seeing your business thrive. And that is Love Entrepreneurs. Love Entrepreneurs is a group of folk, as I cover up my folks on the bottom, a group of folk that are, listen, build business owners, entrepreneurs, wonderful individuals like the folks you see on your screen. Their whole goal, their purpose, passion, and path is to help ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. We do that in many areas. One of those, which is a signature dish for us, is the Big Fix. We're going to talk about that in a little while. So let's get into the conversation. But before we do that, let's go around the room. Good sir, Mr. Rob, I'm going to put you last just for the sake of chivalry. We can start with Lisa, Aliri, and Elaine. Take about 30 seconds, introduce us to who you are, and let us know how you serve the world.
Okay. I guess we're gonna. I see it like this. So I guess I'm next. Hi everyone. I'm Lisa Brown. I am the CEO of Solutions via Carulian LLC, based in Central Pennsylvania. Um, I juggle a lot of things, but my real passion these days is my brain optimization course. I have a background in clinical brain therapy and spending time in the medical realm for the past 20 plus years. I just see a severe lack of information that we don't have, and some of this information is essential. So I've kind of made it my purpose to try to make sure that business owners, especially, have a hands up when it comes up to information about ourselves, our bodies, and our brains, and how they actually work. Because if we know how it actually works, we can make the best decisions possible. So that's what I'm here to do, is to help people optimize their brain capacity.
Love it. I love it. That is Lisa Brown. Make sure that you connect with her. Any of these individuals that you see on the screen, feel free to connect with them on their LinkedIn pages. All right, let's go to Aliri and then Elaine and then Mr. House.
Hey everybody, my name's Larry. So I'm one of the founders of Love Entrepreneurs and Silver Tree too. So I specialise in helping people um, get funding in very innovative ways. I'm a business builder. I am an expert in innovative thinking, I'd like to say, based upon my own experiences. And I enjoy helping people achieve the impossible. For me, my byword is it's the art of the possible from the impossible. So it's the creation of something from nothing that I really enjoy. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm enjoying this space greatly.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for being here. Elaine.
So, thank you for inviting me this evening. So, I specialise in helping business leaders to inspire their teams to be fit, well, and healthy in terms of the dynamics between the team, and to then go home and inspire their families to do the same. So, it's all about wellness for me, wellness and health, and just being happy in the workplace and being productive and living a really good balanced life. And I've just done the big fix and it was blinking awesome. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that at some stage this evening.
We definitely will talk about that and your experience with that as well. Thank you for being here, Mr. House.
Hey, I fit in right with these wonderful folks. I mean, everybody's here to help. It sounds like in some way, either help the mind, help your business, help your heart. And so I'm here with automation to help people as well. And it actually helps your heart, mind, and body because when you automate things, you can now free up more time for yourself. So my idea is help people use technology in the best way in their life and in their business, so they can get more done, have more free time, and honestly, if you do it right, you make more money. I mean, that's kind of how it goes because if you can get more done, have more time, and scale, I mean, essentially that's more resources. So how do we do that? And I'm excited to hear from Elaine and what her um, experience was with the big fix because I know that mine was pretty good. And this whole conversation is about elevating people who are listening, but nothing's more elevating than social proof from an experiment that went well.
Indeed, indeed. That's awesome. That's awesome. And we are gonna hear about that momentarily. I am Oliver Marcel. Those of you who don't know who I am, author, speaker, and coach in the relationship building and men's enrichment spaces, with the goal being to help at least one person gain some level of clarity on the front end before they do something, say something, become something, hang out with somebody, make a decision that could throw off the trajectory of their life. That is my
Mm,
purpose, passion, and path. And then I do some other stuff as well in the way of media and content creation and voiceover work and that kind of thing. You can connect with any of us, like I said in the beginning, by looking up our names on LinkedIn, and none of us will be disappointed with the opportunity to connect with you. I can tell you that right now. Some lovely people on the screen. Listen, let's jump into this conversation so we can get into the big fix portion of this, talking about self image and confidence, gaining the level of confidence that is conducive to success in business. And I want to start off with let's start off with Lisa with this question. When you hear the word self image, right? I think there's a couple ways we can go with the term self image. But as it relates to building confidence for business and you hear this term self image, what comes to mind?
When I think of self image, I'm thinking of my perception of myself, how I view myself, how I see myself as I move in the world, and how I carry myself. So to me, that is self image, my image of myself. And is it a high self image or is it a lower self image? Because there's degrees to it, right? So I've always been on the side of the upper part. I like myself. I've been liking me for a while. I think I'm cool. I like to hang out with me. You know, just have this relationship with yourself. And I'm a serious person, but I'm more goofy than anything. And me and myself, we get along. I like her. She likes me, and luckily it's been that way most of the time. I mean, I think everybody has had sad points in their life and even depression and things of that sort. I experienced that in college for a little while, but at the end of it all, I really am a big fan of me, and I think
Okay.
everybody should be a big fan of themselves because I mean, who is going to advocate for you more than you?
mm-hmm,
Indeed.
So you have
mm-hmm,
to be on your team. You know what I mean? And way up there, rooting and hollering for yourself. But, I'm realizing now that a lot of people haven't had that experience and they talk negatively to themselves,
Hmm.
about themselves, and they don't hold themselves up. So I didn't realize that this was really a thing because I've always just really liked me, and but I'm learning more and more that this is not the case. So we have to flip that. You got to fall in love with yourself,
Mm,
like really, and that's what's really going to catapult you and really help you to get to that success that you're reaching, because you got to be a fan of you first.
I
mm-hmm.
love it. I love it. You got to be a
Fan of
fan
you,
of you first.
fanofyou.com.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking it might sound what they call not conceit. Some people would want to say, oh, you're vain, right? If you like yourself and there's a difference. because we're actually at a point in time, I think, where we have to be selfish. We're
Mm,
going through so many things right now. We have to really connect with ourselves and give ourselves the attention that we really need, especially right now with so much going on.
Oh
So
yes.
I don't see it as vain or conceit, but you gotta love you and don't be afraid or make anybody feel like, you don't deserve to be loved by you.
mm. Yeah, and I can see why that would be important in terms of gaining constant, building confidence in the business sense as well. Because if you have a low self image, generally, what you think about yourself, you tend to what you think internally, you tend to show
Hmm.
externally.
Oh yeah.
And so
Projects right out
yeah,
there.
it comes right out of there. So anybody else have another definition? Can we as a consensus go with what Lisa said, or anybody wanted to take a swing at that as well?
I mean, she did hit it on the head. I mean, you got to fall in love with yourself. You have to, and you got to be your number one fan. And you do. And you were also saying how that ties into business, because if you're running a business or even in business, you're going to project. You're going to be this person externally that you're being internally. So how does someone get confidence? One of the key things I know for sure, when you have an understanding, you become more confident.
Mm,
The less you understand, the less confidence you have, because you're guessing,
Makes
you're
sense.
unsure. But when you know what you know, confidence is up.
mhm,
So when it comes to a person repeating over and over and over, they love themselves, they believe in themselves, but also doing the things they have to do consecutively, consistently. So in business, figuring out what you have to do and actually doing it consistently over and over and over. It's the repetition, and the repetition is going to create the confidence, because repetition creates is the mother of mastery, obviously. And so, point is, it starts with you loving yourself, but then putting in the work consistently, you know, and doing that over time. That's going to build your self image, your self confidence, and boom, here we go. We got to start.
Mhm.
I love it. I love it. So I won't put anybody in particular on the spot. I was going to call a name to answer this question, but then I would be putting someone on the spot. Is there ever Lisa talked about a time in college where the self image and things weren't as strong. Maybe there's you talked about depression, some things that happened in college. You had a little stint there, real brief, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Has anybody dealt with grappled with self image, and if so, what did you do, or what was the process to get you to the point where you're like, I'm the
Mhm.
greatest in the world?
Well, let me speak on my depression stint in college.
Okay.
What I think was going on. Um, I think that for me, when I was at Temple, I was a communications major. Strategic communications is my background. But what I think was going on with me is I, I, and this is only recently that I'm putting so many different dots together, and connecting them. I was always a meditator, like, my whole life, always knew how to find peace, always knew
Mhm.
how to center myself. But it really picked up when I got to be an early teen. And then I, really started to, because, I wanted to make sure that I became a certain type of adult. And I felt that I was able to observe behaviors in myself that I didn't think was conducive to my progress. So I felt like, okay, I see a little temper here that I think isn't, we need to fix this, because I'm going to end up in prison if I don't. And I really felt this way, because I felt like my anger was spiking a little bit too much, but I was able to observe this and see this. And I'm understanding now that a lot of people aren't able to observe themselves and to see their behavior and able to correct it or see that it even needs correcting. I'm sorry. I've been trying to control this one since I came on. Whenever she knows
Yeah,
I go online, she appears, and I
you got
have
a
no one
visitor.
to keep her away. So that's Coco, everybody.
What's up?
So anyway, I think I was also probably a little lonely, and in school it just there was a couple other things, but it wasn't about so much me and my confidence level, because it was always high. It was more of a, I think, a little bit of a social thing that was going on with me at the time, even though I was active and organizations on campus and stuff. And there was some spiritual stuff happening at that time too, as far as awakening and things that I didn't understand, because I was really young. I was just 18 when I really started to ascend in consciousness and started to really, but I didn't have, there was no internet to jump on to Google things. And I had no resources really to help me along in that path. So I think that kind of put me into a funk for a little bit. But the self confidence and all those things were was pretty good. Even then, I was still speaking publicly and things of that nature. But when I came home, I was, so it was
Hmm.
kind of like that. But I was able to get past it. I'm not sure I could even tell you what happened. It just, after a while, it just kind of, you know
Just
phased itself
dissipated.
out, and I cried a lot, and maybe there was just some pent up emotion that needed to be released.
That's possible.
But I think, however way, I kind of phased out of that, and ever since then I've been able to self manage myself because of that practice. So as I got
Mhm.
older and I felt myself going a certain way, I could kind of corral myself back and get myself to a place of focus, and and find myself back again. So, but that took, that was like 30 years ago.
Mhm.
So, and I still have that practice. So, it's a mind control thing. This is what we're all talking about. It's controlling ourselves and our minds, and getting ourselves to say, listen, this is how you focus and, love you, project that and walk it. But it's really difficult for a lot of people, I realize.
It is. I agree with that. And speaking of practice, Elaine, you can speak on anything that has already been said. But the question I have for you is, if you were, let's say you were a business coach, and someone is coming to you, they're just getting started, and through your expertise, you have determined that there is a lack of confidence based on self image. What advice would you give this person? What is the thing that you would share with them to get them on the track to raising their self image and ultimately their confidence?
So what I always do is invite people to go through my behavioural profiling tool. So I use the DISC model, but I've tweaked it to increase health and well-being. So is that feedback from me? I wonder.
It
I,
Is it,
sounds
I
that way. It
It
sounds
might
that
be, but I can't tell. To be honest, I
way.
was looking behind the scenes, but I can't tell
yeah,
if it
I
is or
don't
not.
know how to deal with anything if it is me. Um, so yeah, the DISC profiling tool gives an aspect of health and well-being. So when you know yourself, so through profiling, you can understand a bit more about yourself. When you understand yourself, you can then self-manage. When you can do that bit and then recognize the difference between yourself and other people and their behaviors, you can then manage that relationship. So it all starts with us. But so many people go through their life through other people's conditioning, that you're told you're not good enough, you're not tall enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not enough of anything. And it's other people that are telling us this, and we've now got social media telling us the right way. It looks if we're not looking the right way, then that's going to push us down. So yeah, I think it is my mic. That's
That's,
better.
that's okay. We could hear you, and
Yeah.
that's great.
Okay, the
That's
noise is gone now. But yeah, so the answer to the question is know yourself, and a way to do that very easily is through the disc profile.
yeah. And
Mm.
I love that you brought that up. I want to hear some more about that too when we talk about your experience with the big fix. But that's I love that because sometimes, right, there are instances where we can kind of corral our emotions and we can do some self work and we can kind of fight through this thing on our own. But then there are times where you're going to need somebody to do some profiling to help to look and see what they see from the outside looking in, so that they can provide some context around some of the stuff that we might be confused about. So I love that you do that. And for those of you that are either watching now or watching the replay, and you know that your business, your team, your corporation, your organization can benefit from that level of profiling and intervention, Elaine is your person. So you're going to need to get in contact with her via LinkedIn. So make sure that you do that. Aliri, as we transition into the big fix portion of this, right? And I'll talk about what the big fix is in a little bit. To kind of tie all this together in terms of self-image, Aliri, I'm going to put her on the spot a little bit, because Aliri has she has this uh, confidence aura about her, even though she won't necessarily admit that to anybody. But I want you to do the same thing as well that I asked Elaine to do. You're a business coach. You are coaching someone on raising their self image. What would you, and confidence, what would you say to them?
Oh, I don't know if I'm a business coach. I'm not a qualified business coach. I think that's
We'll pretend for now.
I meant, listen, I've made so many mistakes. I mentor people only because and I can only share with them what mistakes I've made. I like everybody on the screen, I learn from everybody. I don't profess to have all the answers. But I, it might not surprise you if you look at my jingly janglies, and it might not surprise you that I like bright colours. I've learned, like Elaine, to love myself. For many, many years, I worked in corporates, and I went to school before then. School, as in high school. Then I went to college and university, and throughout the process, I acted as if I had a hole in my soul. I was not enough. I just was not enough. I wasn't good enough. My everything wasn't good enough. Everybody else was better. So I had that gene of thriving for everything. I wanted to thrive for loads of things, but I was never happy. I wasn't happy, and I was looking for something that was impossible to attain, until I realized a couple of years ago that actually the answers to everything I was looking for were inside me. If anything was wrong or out of sorts with the world, the answer was within me. It meant that something was wrong or out of kilter with me inside. And I live that now, day in, day out. I watch my headspace go, woo, and always it's a reaction to something. Or so I would say spend some real time, whether with a therapist or whatever it is that you need to do. Spend some time on finding you. And okay, so that's a very wild subject, but I would start with get a notebook and start to write down when you notice that something makes you happy. There'll be a hormonal change in your brain. So I just thought about something then. I thought, oh, what would make me happy? Oh, I know, going for a massage on Saturday. So I wrote it down in my book, notes for head spike. So there'll be things during the course of every day that will make you happy. And at the end of the week, what you'll find is that it'll be people, places, and things. There will be things, there will be themes, there will be words, there will be emotions, maybe something somebody said, and feelings. I mean, they amount to feelings, right? And try and capitalize on those in your life and in your business. Because what you'll find is that you will start to energetically attract people on your energy wavelength. And that's my advice. I know that's very different from, if you'd asked me that 4 or 5 years ago, it would have been or 7 years ago, it would have been a very, very different thing. But work on being authentic, and that's the beginning of it. Find out, what colours do you like? You'll know, because you'll stand next to a colour and something will make you feel better than others. You will know. Work with that. That's the universe. That's the body energy telling us, hey, this is who you are. Most of us have that smacked out of us at an early age. You can't wear a pink suit to a corporate meeting. Who the heck do you think you are? Says Miss Coslet in the corner there, And that's how it starts.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's so
As you can
right.
tell
Yep.
by my blouse, I've come back to life.
That is
That's
not a
right.
dead blouse at all.
No, 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 no.
Alive and well.
I love it. I love it. I
That's
love
my
it.
style. Actually, we're gonna talk about the blouse afterwards, okay? Because I would like to know
Yeah.
more about it. So.
Yeah, it's coming to
Uh,
a place called
we're
you.
in the after party. We'll talk
Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
in the after party. I love that. I love what you all are saying about that, and I want to say this as we transition into Elaine's experience with the Big Fix. One of the definitions of confidence is the state of feeling certain, the state of feeling certain about the truth of something. And what I urge those who are listening or now or listening to the replay is to determine what is the truth in your scenario. What's the truth? Shout out to my friend Lenore Jones. She is heading up an event this weekend that my wife is about to head out to go speak at. And she said something that really stuck with me. She said, although it may be true, it might not be the truth. So you it might be true right now that your business is not where you want it to be, but the truth is that you are great at what you do, and as such it will garner the business that is in alignment with your greatness. So take some time to really understand and identify and accept the truth of your situation, and then become certain in that truth. And that will help build your confidence. We hope that this portion of that conversation is beneficial to some folks out there that are dealing with self image and confidence, and know that it's a process, right? Know that it's a process. There are some things that will happen over time. It's like working a muscle. As you continue to do it, it continues to grow and it continues to get better. We love it. We love it, right? So I'm excited about this portion of it in terms of as it relates to growing and getting better and process. What better segue to talk about the Big Fix, where you can get into a scenario that can help you grow, that can identify process. So Elaine is our guest of honor today because Elaine was able to go through that process as the fire trucks go by. Elaine was able to go through that process this week. And Elaine, I want to talk to you about your experience. And let me just say this for those of you who don't know what we're talking about and why we're so quickly trying to get to Elaine. The Big Fix is an opportunity for you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, to share your vision for your business. It is an opportunity for you to share your ideas, to share any questions that you may have about your business, any pain points that you have, any fears that you may have. And the team that is in the room with you, their whole goal is to shower you with ideas and suggestions and systems and potential collaborations and everything else in between to help you move the needle in your business. That's what the Big Fix is. It is free. It is an opportunity for you to learn and grow and walk away with some things that will be beneficial to you as you take the next step in your business. We'll talk about how you can get in a Big Fix coming down to the end of this. But Elaine, you are fresh off of this experience. So we'd love to hear
You
what you
should
thought
ask
about
her.
the last two
Sorry,
days.
sorry. You should just ask her. Have you been fixed in a
Have you
way?
have you been fixed?
Yes, well, I haven't been showered with ideas. I've been flooded, absolutely flooded and overwhelmed with the wonderful ideas, suggestions, as you mentioned, the collaborations and so on that were in the room. 2 days running and evening, I've been totally almost run over really with the volume of everything that's come towards me, and of course it's all been positive, and it's so interesting when you have fresh eyes on your situation, because I went from being a bit fed up with part of my business and thinking I'm going to, throw it away, give it away or whatever, now to, there's potentially I'm going to set it up as a charity. And then later on, the thing I absolutely love doing, which is the just behavioural profiling in teams, and then use the resource that will be a non-profit, a charity, or whatever we decide to do. That's a backup resource afterwards, as one of the solutions. So I can identify who's not well, potentially not well in a team by looking at their behaviour pattern without even meeting them. And I don't just go, oh, well, do you know Jimmy over here is not doing too well. They go, yeah, well, he's not performing, and then I will tell the business leader why the person isn't performing or whatever, and what's likely to be wrong with them health wise. But I've got the solution, so I don't just say, there we go, there's the problem. I've identified it, off you go. I've got the solutions. So one of the solutions is the health hub that I created over a period of years, which I only launched last year, last April, but I didn't really tell anybody about it. I set it up as a membership. It's a resource with hundreds of videos, downloads, go-tos that I've curated from various different places. Some of it's my own, some of it's other health therapists, some of it's doctors, it's podcasts, interviews. There's a whole load of stuff that has come through me. So it's all kind of kosher stuff in there. So it's lots of golden nuggets of health resources where people can just go on there, search for what they want to know about, and then something will pop up, or several somethings will pop up. But it takes a while to curate it, to upload the stuff, etc., etc., and it, is becoming a financial burden to me because I've not marketed it, and now I've got heaps of ideas on what to do, how to do, and it's been quite an amazing experience.
That is awesome. And listen, let's just be clear for those of you who are listening now or watching the replay. We did not pay Elaine to do this, right? You know, we get on every week and we're excited about the big fix. So we just want to bring on other folk just so that you know that what we're saying is true, right? And Elaine said that it was beneficial and you can trust Elaine. How about that? So I appreciate you sharing that experience, Elaine. And what I'm gonna put you on the spot for a second because there's no way to prepare for this. For those of you who have done, I think everybody in this room has done a big fix, right? There's no way to really prepare for this outside of whatever you think you're going to say in the beginning, right? But in terms of what comes back to you,
Mm-hmm.
there's no real way to prepare for this experience. What would you say is the what would you say is the benefit of almost walking into this blindly? Like I know you've been a part of it in terms of sharing your expertise to whoever was in the hot seat, but if you were to tell somebody else about this, what is the benefit that you would tell them this experience provides?
I have been telling people, and there's several people lined up to do big fixes on the
I
back
love
of
it.
how I've been helped. Basically, it's a free resource. I mean, that's remarkable in itself because there are lots of organisations who charge a fortune to be in a mastermind. But the fact that this is free to start with is just quite amazing. But it's not just a free resource; it's a valuable resource. Free doesn't necessarily mean anything these days, but this is absolutely spot on. And the way it's been developed, the fact that you have different days with different people attending, so you've got different sets of eyes. You have 2 days running, so you can think overnight yourself. You've got the digital fix as well. You've got this platform. So there's so many different opportunities, all leading towards effectively actually building a business plan. And I know Ella is scribing away. So I'm not a business plan person. I just do stuff. But if I'm going to go for funding, then I need to have a plan. I need to have something in paper. So the beauty of it is you have people in the room who have experienced the challenges that you're going through, or they've got a different take. Um, it's challenging. You need to be roughy tufty. You need to be open to constructive criticism because it's a process with all the questioning, and it's if you're not prepared to listen, there's no point in being in the room. So it's a
Mm.
two-way street as well. You have to be prepared to hear harsh truths of things that maybe you haven't done too well, things that you've really messed up. But equally, when you sit back and reflect, it's just a wonderful a wonderful experience. I can't speak highly enough of it.
Can I just say something on that, just to explain the methodology of how we work it? Right. So Elaine came and did a big fix. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write up the notes from the 2 days of the big fix, and that's an important exercise for me actually, as an entrepreneur, because it helps me hone my skills, because it helps me just, because what Elaine will also get is 2 videos curated from the day. So there's a lot of repetition, but some of that is important. But what we do then, we meet with the individual who's done a big fix and go through the thing, because I'm not prepared to just leave people hanging. There have been instances of people who were just not prepared, because what we don't do is we don't leave people hanging. They weren't prepared to accept. It's not criticism, it's a question of how they would do it. So none of this is right or wrong. It's just a question of perception. And when you're running a business, and Lisa will say this, I'm sure, one of the hardest things to do when you're transitioning from small and you're upscaling is to divorce your personality and you from the business. The business is a separate legal human being. And that was one of the hardest things. I still have trouble with that because it's personal, right? When you start a business, it's your baby and it's all great until other people critique it. How dare you? I've had people in tears, especially people who've got more established businesses, but you try and support them as much as you do, and you're not telling them, no, this is rubbish. You're giving them the solution. Right, this is how you're doing it now. In order to get to where you want to, what you need to do is this, 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 and this, and that's the reason why. You will support something with a why you need to do it and how you get to do it, and through using Silvertree, how you can do it when it's going to cost you virtually half of what it would normally cost you. And then we do the coaching for people if they want coaching, and then we do the funding for people who want business funding. So we've tried to, and all of you here are alive to this. I mean, I say at the beginning of every big fix, it's all about, listen, this is not about the entrepreneur themselves who's come to do the big fix being humiliated or whatever. It's the job of the entrepreneurs to come up with suggestions and solutions to a problem. So nobody leaves with, we're not about, oh, your business is rubbish. Well, if your business is rubbish, our job is to make it perfect, right? If we can't, if we don't make it perfect, we failed in our jobs as entrepreneurs, not you.
So, sorry to interrupt, but that's how I was feeling when I started, that I'd made a mess up of one part of the business, not all of it, but one part of it. I was feeling stupid, and I was rubbishing myself. But just after the first session, I was uplifted hugely by all the constructive critiquing that was given. There's no negativity whatsoever, but it gave me the impotence to get the wings flying again, which was brilliant.
And look what happened energetically at the same time within was that before the big fix or after the big fix you got the award? Tell us about the award you got.
It was in the middle.
It was in the middle. That's amazing. It's ridiculous.
The first big fix, and not only was it, the timing was just impeccable, really, because it's the hub that I was not happy with, not the rest of the business, just the hub part of it. And the award that I've got, I don't even know if I've written it down somewhere. It's something like the best speech and health hub in Europe 2003, and the hub was actually mentioned. And it's the first, I've got lots of awards, but it's the first one I've got that's actually mentioned the hub. So it was just so amazing. I thought,
there was you saying to everybody, you want to close it down in the middle, absolutely reverse.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That was your sign there that what you have is valuable and impactful and is needed and necessary in the world. So that is awesome. Congratulations on that award as well, and congratulations on successfully completing the big fix experience. It's awesome that you were able to walk away with renewed vigor and with great ideas and a pathway towards the future. And for those that are watching this, you can schedule your big fix. There's an email on the bottom of your screen. Like Elaine mentioned, it is free. It is free. It is free.
You don't get a lot of things free, you know. That's why you have to keep saying it over and over because this is, and then this quality of freeness is just
Right.
not what you hear every day.
You just don't get
You
that
do have to
every
pay
day.
something, though.
You
You
do
do
have
have
to
to
pay
pay
something.
attention.
That's right.
Attention.
You do
You
have
do
to
got to
pay
pay attention.
attention.
I
You
love
do
it.
have to pay
Just
attention.
joining with these perfect little epithets right at the end. You're paying. My name's Hauser, Rob Hauser.
Yeah.
How's he doing? That's great.
You do, and to just give you an overview, you here's something else you also have to do. Right, it's one thing to get just all of the data that you get in the way of suggestions and ideas and systems and potential collaborations and partnerships and all that kind of thing. It's another thing to actually do something with it after that. And so the big fix now provides you, when you go through that process, you aren't just dropped off, right? The only way you're dropped off is if you choose to drop off, right? And if you choose to drop off, then you drop off. But if you don't choose to drop off, then here are some choices that you have, right? You get a report from a Larry who is in our group today with everything that happened, all of the ideas, all of the suggestions. You get a report. You also get videos of your experience. And you have two options now. You can take all of that information, you can go forth, execute, be great. We are cheering for you. We are behind you. We want to see you win. The other side of that choice that you have is that there are individuals in the group, like the Lisas of the group and the Elaines of the group and the Robs of the group and the Olivers of the group, and the list goes on and on and on, who are poised and ready to help you in the implementation process. And here's the beauty of that. The beauty of that is some of that process you don't have to spend cash on. And that's going to be another show that we do about Silver Tree and the opportunity to do business and gain resources for the growth of your business and not necessarily have to spend the amount of money that you would normally have to spend elsewhere. So it is a win, 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 win all the way around. And so if you want to schedule your big fix, or if you want to just be a part of the big fix by just being my guest, and by listening in and sharing some of your own expertise, you can do that as well. Reach out to anybody that you see on this screen. Just shoot them a message in LinkedIn saying, hey, you know what? That guy who had no hair, who was doing a whole lot of talking, he said something about some big something. Yeah, I want to be a part of that. Just shoot them a
Big
message.
cojones.
Just shoot them a message. Shoot them a message. So we appreciate you taking time out, Elaine, for being here, to be here with us. We know it's we're not going to keep you any longer because we know it's I don't want you to fall asleep on us. I know it's what is it? It's 10. It's almost 11 o'clock there, right? So
Yeah, nearly 11 o'clock. Yeah.
indeed. So we're gonna wrap up this session. As habit would be, we always kick this over to Lisa to close us out, and then after Lisa, we have a video to share with you, and then we will say good night.
Okay,
Over to Lisa.
everyone. All right. So, I'm the one that's always trying to get people to try to find peace and get quiet and try to nourish their body. Not necessarily with food, but just with mindfulness and breathing because we don't do it right. We walk around kind of half using our lungs all the time. They're not getting the exercise that they need. So what I do is just try to get people sometimes to just take a moment for yourself throughout your day to just breathe, to just get quiet because there's a whole lot going on around us. And if we're not able to center ourselves, we can get swept up in it. And that kind of takes us away from our goals and our intentions and everything that we want to do for ourselves to make lives better for ourselves and our companies and our families. So, um, we're going to do that same thing again. So all we're talking about is if you're doing errands during the day, you get in your car, just stop. Before you pull off, just stop. Just take a couple of minutes for yourself. Anytime, you got to steal it. Unfortunately, that's where we live. We have to steal time for ourselves because there's so much required of us. So as we're here, sitting here together, all our energies are all entangled right now. So we're all on great frequencies. So I would say, everyone, just take in a deep breath, as deep as you can take. And then when you have all that air, take in some more and just hold it for a little bit, maybe 5 seconds. And then just let it out, controlled, slowly. And when all that air is out, stop breathing. Just hold that for 5 seconds, no air now. And then, go back to your breathing. So just something like that can do a lot for your body, because when you take in a nice deep breath, on the other side, inside your body, those red blood cells are right here, like, okay, give us that air. And they're ready to rush it off to all the different parts of the body that it needs to go to. So the more we can oxygenate our bodies, the more it will help our brains, because every breath, 20% of that goes here. So as much air as we can possibly get in is beneficial to the entire body. And, this does nothing unless this is working first, because we don't do any of this on our own. This is all because this says so. And we need to really make that connection for us to really understand ourselves. And that's a part of self-mastery, which is a big part of the confidence and the self-esteem that we're talking about, that helps propel you in your business. So let's give ourselves the time that we need so we can optimize ourselves, optimize our brain activity, so we can optimize our businesses and the decisions that we make for our businesses and for our families. So that's where I'm going to leave you. Just breathe sometimes.
Just breathe sometimes. That is awesome. Thank you for that, Lisa.
No,
For
all the time. Breathe all
all
the
the time.
time. That's
Breathe
the
all the
goal.
time. Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
don't
not
stop
sometimes.
breathing. I don't want to
Don't
say
stop.
that. Please breathe. But I mean
Ple-
the exceptional deep breaths. That's what I mean. But breathe always, please,
yeah, yeah,
for as
yeah.
long as you can.
We want to keep you around. We
We
want to
want
keep
you
you
here.
around. Shout out to Barry. We saw your comment earlier. Loving the conversation. Important to reconnect with the self that we have been trained to forget. Thank you for being a part of this
And I
conversation.
get that, Barry. I
Yeah,
get that. That is some
yeah,
profound stuff you're talking about. We're gonna have to
yeah.
talk
That's
about that
yeah.
too.
We might have to do a part two just on that alone. But yeah, that's awesome. Thank you again to our guest of honor, Elaine Godley. Thank you for being here as
Thank
well.
you, Lynn. Thank
And
you.
for those of you who are, yes, clap it up for Elaine. I don't have my applause. My system's not working, so I can't give you real
Oh, okay.
applause.
Oh,
Yeah, so I,
okay.
I
Hang
can't.
on, hang
Yeah,
on.
it's not.
Everybody. It sounds like that usually, right?
Yeah, right.
The double time clap.
Yeah. But thank you for being here, and blessings on you as you pursue all of what you have gained from this experience this week. For those of you who are watching again or watching the replay and you didn't catch the beginning, this is the Love Entrepreneurs Show. What is Love Entrepreneurs? Love Entrepreneurs is a group of individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs with the sole goal to help ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. We do that in a number of ways and with a number of phenomenal people. One of those ways is a signature dish called the Big Fix. If you want to schedule your Big Fix, reach out to anybody that you see on this screen. So listen, we're going to leave you now. Have a great rest of your day, evening, night, wherever you may be in the world. And be clear about what the truth is in your business, in your life, in whatever scenario you find yourself in, and then become certain of that truth. It will build your confidence. We will see you next time with another episode of the Love Entrepreneur Show. Have a good night, folks.
Hi everyone, I'm Jake. Today was my big fix as well as yesterday. Thank you everyone for coming and supporting Love Entrepreneurs as usual. It's always a fantastic experience. And despite my own experiences of running multiple businesses, I always come away from here completely refreshed with new ideas I haven't sort of thought of or have thought of but haven't expanded. It's an absolute pleasure to come along to Love Entrepreneurs as always. And I look forward to seeing other big fixes that I can contribute to.